The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hilary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome one and all. Yes, I am back. Here it is, Thursday, July number 13 in the year of our Lord 2017. Call-in number is 603-835-3226. As usual, it is still Military Tribute Thursday. Got a interesting and rather cute, it's got some cuteness to it. Military tribute later this morning. It's not cute in the end, obviously, but there's some cuteness to it. Plus, we have the military song of the day, tribute song, and so much more. I know people are probably wanting me to weigh in on this this Donald Trump Jr. Russian lawyer thing, and we'll get into that, as well as bunches of other things. The first thing, though, is I spent some time on a lake. Yeah, I know I'm in New England, should be on the ocean, but you know what it's like to have to rent one of those places on the ocean? I mean, we're talking, depending on if you want to go to a decent beach. Now, hold on to your seats, folks. We're here in New England. To get a seacoast or beachfront rental, you're looking at least $2,000 to $3,500 for a week. Yeah, not a month, a week. And there are people that actually, they buy up some of these properties, and they're not cheap either. You can get basically a cabin. 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, 1-bath little cabin thing. It might be 1,200 square feet. And those things will rent out easily for $2,000 a week. And they'll be booked from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Solid. Every week. And depending on the tourist trap town you're in, the tourist town that you're in, you may have to book that sucker a year out in advance. Because you're not going to get it an available opening. So we spent some time on a lake instead. A friend of mine, I guess her boss has a family compound. Yeah, it's really kind of weird, but family compound on a lake. And it was 3 buildings, 3 good-sized buildings. 2 of them were cabins. One was a family house. And we spent some time there. And it was with a whole range of people, senior citizens all the way down to, I think the youngest member was 6 years old. Me being around a 6-year-old for 5 days. Well, it was interesting. But it was more interesting to see the differences in political opinion. And no, I didn't start any of it. I did. Well, my reputation precedes me. A couple of them asked what I thought. And I said, well, we're on vacation, guys. You really want to go down that road? He said, yeah, we do. Now, one of them being a liberal, she just knew that she was going to be able to get me. But the problem is I always demand that these people give me some proof. Like, why? Why do you hate Donald Trump? Well, Donald Trump's an ass. That may be, but why? Give me some specifics. Well, nobody likes him. Like, that's not a specific. There are a lot of people that like him. A lot of people that have worked for him over the years that love him. Give me some specifics. And this is not just with young people. And of course, there were some liberals there, some moderates there, some conservatives there, and just a whole plethora of people. But I just want to basically, I wanted to get a feel for what people were thinking and why they were thinking what they were thinking. And I've come to the conclusion that most people, even if they're conservative, they have absolutely no earthly idea why they believe and feel as strongly as they do about certain things. They have none. The strange part, well, maybe it's not so strange. The interesting part is that the more liberal that the person was, the less interested in learning facts that they were. I kid you not, firsthand. The more liberal they were, the less interested in facts that they were. Especially when it came down to this whole notion of Donald Trump's Muslim ban. Yeah, I just simply asked the question. You do realize it's only 6 countries out of about over 50. Well, yeah, but he doesn't want any of them in. I said, that's irrelevant. How is that relevant if he doesn't like Muslims, period? If he didn't like Muslims, period, by the way, don't you think he'd move to try to ban all 50-plus Muslim-majority countries? Well, yeah, but he did the 6. I'm like, do realize that this is what Obama did? And do you know that the most liberal, these people, do not believe that Obama had the same executive order? Like, do you want me to look it up for you? We do have internet access out here. You want me to look it up? And I offered to look it up, and you know what the most liberal of them told me? No, I don't want to. I don't need to see that. Wait, you are condemning Donald Trump for doing something that Obama did, and you're telling me that you don't believe Obama did it, and I'm about to show you that Obama actually did it, and you don't want to know? So this isn't. I've come to the conclusion at this past weekend, folks, it isn't about the truth. Well, I've known this, but it really isn't about the truth. This is about people's belief sets. In that when you challenge their belief set, they don't want you to challenge their belief sets. See, the more liberal that you are, the less likely you are to get real facts. So you're only going to hear the sound bites, and that's all you're going to believe. You have no depth in your knowledge or your belief. And you don't want that belief system challenged. Well, if you have it challenged, you know what that means? It means that you're an idiot. Well, I'm serious. And the reason why these liberals do not want their belief system challenged is because the vast majority of them are supposedly highly educated. They fail to understand that there's a difference between education and intelligence. Yeah, there is. There's a huge difference between intelligence and education. No, you can be an educated idiot. You really can. Now, you can have a PhD and still be an idiot. And you may have never gone to school at all, higher education at all, never gone to college of any kind, and be highly and extremely knowledgeable and intelligent. because it doesn't take college to teach you about life. How many times have we've heard that this person is self-taught in science, or self-taught in music, or self-taught in this industry, or self-taught? Obviously, self-taught means they didn't go to college. These are highly intelligent people. But the reason my conclusion is that, and I've seen it firsthand going from, seeing all three types of people, liberal, moderate, and conservative, different age groups, didn't matter. The 20-somethings, the baby or millennials, on up through well, no, I think they'd be a greatest generation. They were just before the baby boomers. She's like 70-something years old. The two ladies were mothers of some of the people that were there, so they were in their 70s. So yeah, they would be before the baby boomers. But hey, one of them was surprising enough, they were both extremely conservative. But one of them didn't want to have her belief system challenged either. Conservative. I played devil's advocate. I was that day that we were there. I was nasty. I'll admit it. I was playing devil's advocate with all of them. Throwing out facts here and there, and offering to back up my facts. Hey, look, we got internet access. You want to go look this up? And I was surprised by how many people said no. The first thing I want to do is, if somebody says, well, I can prove it, I'm like, okay, go ahead. I want to see the facts. That's all I care about. I don't care what the truth is. I just want to know the truth. But I was surprised at how many people didn't want to see it. And there wasn't a single liberal there that did. As I said, the more liberal that they were, the less likely they were, the more liberal they were, the more quickly they were to dismiss finding out the truth. Because again, these are, many of them had, there was a medical doctor. These are highly educated people. There's another young man there that he just recently graduated with a bachelor's degree. So these are highly educated people. They've spent thousands of dollars on their education. Didn't mean that they were intelligent. No, not everybody was interested in politics. Some of them could care less. Some of them, they came from different parts of the country. There was from here in New England, from New York State, from Chicago area, Chicagoland. They came in from Chicago. I don't know. What is it, 15 adults or so? Total, plus I think at one time there was 3-5 kids under the age of 13. Interesting time. But I just thought it fascinating that there are people that did not want, they have the ability to learn the truth, and they weren't interested in actually seeing the proof. They just wanted to go on believing the sound bites that they had heard or had seen without any source. This is where CNN and other mainstream media outlets are dangerous to the American people. They literally are dangerous to the American people. Because they know that there are people out there, they're highly educated, but they're low intelligence, and they will believe anything that they tell them. So if CNN says, well, Donald Trump hates Muslims and this is a Muslim ban, even though it's only 6 countries out of 50 plus, then to them it's a Muslim ban. If this is evil, even though this is almost verbatim exactly what then President Obama issued, but they don't even tell them. CNN doesn't tell these people, oh, President Obama did the same thing. And then when you come up and say, well, President Obama did the same thing, they won't believe you. Because CNN didn't tell them. And then if you offer to give them proof, well, I can show you proof, his executive order. You can read it for yourself. Well, they don't want their world turned upside down, topsy-turvy, because then everything that they believed in beforehand, that they heard beforehand, they will then be challenged and think, well, it's a lie. And if they think that they've fallen for a lie, it will mean that they're stupid. Well, they fail to realize they're already stupid. And just because you went to Harvard or Brown or Yale or UCLA or whatever college that they went to, it doesn't make you intelligent. But again, they were told, well, hey, if you go to Harvard or Yale or Brown and you spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, that you got to be intelligent, because that's what people do. That's what intelligent people do. They go to college. That's not true either. It's an interesting dynamic. And this whole, well, it's kind of like this whole Donald Trump Jr. thing. And I even heard, people, Ben Shapiro, talking about this. First of all, can I say, he's a nice young man. He is. And he's fairly intelligent. He is. But he's hard to listen to. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the speed of his voice, because he talks very fast. It's not that you can't keep up. It's just hard to really. He doesn't keep you enthralled. It's just with him. It's just there's no pausing. It's like everything is thoroughly rehearsed, and it's one speed all the way through his entire program. And I think, okay. Well, there's no interest. I mean, I have starts and fits and stutters and ums and ahs and all that kind of. It's like talking to me regularly. I don't rehearse any of this stuff. But with him, it was like it was all rehearsed, and he was just trying to get through as much as he possibly could within an hour, and he just kept the same pace all the way through his program. It was just the same way and the same voice and the same inflection. There was nothing, going up, going down. There was no emotion. It was just all kept going the same way, like this kind of speed, and he just kept talking this way, and he kept bringing out new facts and new facts and new facts. And every once in a while, he'd interrupt with a pre-recorded thing from that he got off the TV or the radio or something, but he just kept going like this, and he just kept for an entire hour, and he was just hard to listen to. Sorry, Ben, you were. But I'll take a break here, and we'll get into some of the things I learned about Ben Shapiro that are not exactly pro-Trump.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shea brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Back. I will probably get into the Ben Shapiro thing after I bring you this morning's military tribute song. We'll get that going, and then we'll come back and start in on Ben Shapiro. By the way, you folks do realize he's not pro-Trump, right? Okay, just so you know. Well, here's a repeat from a couple of weeks ago because somebody asked for it again, so we'll play it again. Bring On the Thunder. This was an awesome song, man. It gets people, it gets you pumped, gets you going. Bring on the thunder.
I'm at my limit, so that's it. You sure you want to be here? Yes, I do. Are you absolutely sure? I'm positive. Whatever you have to do, just find an excuse to win. Keep going. It pays to be aware.
I heard a story about a man, somewhat of a legend, rushing headstrong in the battle, no matter
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
603-835-3226. Let me just ask you a quick question. What is up with this? I love it. I love the fact that Kid Rock is tweaking everybody out there. It's pretty amazing because if depending on where maybe Chris Rock has actually got him scared in Michigan, because depending on the media outlet, it's Chris Rock, if you know CNN, or Kid Rock teases with U.S. Senate bid, says he's going to run. He teases the Republicans, but then when you go over to Fox, Fox is saying at about the same time frame that CNN is saying that Kid Rock is teasing. Kid Rock, according to Fox News, confirms that he's actually going to run for Senate in Michigan. Now, I don't know the truth over there. I don't particularly care. All I know is that if Kid Rock wants to really run, he needs to cut his hair. Well, why not? Yeah, well, he would be the sixth celebrity, major celebrity to announce, I guess, run in 2018. We've got I don't know. I've read that there's 5 of them already. I don't, other than Antonio Sabato Jr. He's the only one. He's the only major celebrity. I don't care if you call him an A-list or B-list or what have you. It doesn't matter. He's still a major celebrity. He's the only one that I know of that's actually running right now. I know I saw something last week about trying to get somebody's trying to. They're really trying to draft Scott Baio. And I don't think he's really interested in running, but who knows? There are people that really they've heard Scott Baio on the radio, a number from Rush Limbaugh and a couple of other programs, and they really like what he had to say. And he came across as a very ardent. I know he's in Hollywood, but he still comes across as a very ardent conservative. Same with Antonio Sabato Jr. If you've ever really listened to Sabato Jr. Talk about his positions, you're thinking, my God, this guy's he's like a Ronald Reagan. How is that possible in Hollywood today? But believe it or not, there are quite a few celebrities, music celebrities and actors that you would not think about being conservative, but they really are. Well, everybody knows that, what's his name is, big, huge rocker, and he's always been a conservative, and he loves guns and rock and roll and America. And Kid Rock. No, Chris Rock is not, the comedian is not a conservative. No, he's not. But Kid Rock evidently is. Kid Rock is he's a white guy that's a rapper / country singer / rock and roll singer. I don't know what the hell he is. I like some of his stuff. I do. He's okay. He's all right. He's all right. But he's out there teasing. It really depends on. This is why you have to get your information from more than just one source, because the further to the left you go, CNN is reporting that he's just teasing, meaning that he's being a comedian. Well, I didn't know Kid Rock was a comedian. I thought he was a singer. But okay. But if you go all the way to the right, well, if you want to consider it right, it's still a lot farther right than CNN. Fox News is saying, well, it's confirmed that he's running. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see who's right on this and who's carrying it too far. Here is a list, the daily list of holidays for Thursday, July number 13. Today is, I don't know, has Kid Rock played in any barbershop? Because today is Barbershop Music Appreciation Day. I'm going to have to go watch the movies of Barbershop, with Ice-T. Is that who it is? I don't know. I don't keep up with these rappers and their stage names. It's also Bean and Frank's Day. You would think that would probably be on a weekend or like a July 4th weekend, but no, today, July 13th, is Bean and Frank's Day. Today is also Embrace Your Geekness Day. So today's a day, if you have a pair of suspenders and a red or a polka dotted bow tie, you'd probably wear that, pocket protector, that type of thing. Today's Embrace Your Geekness Day. Today's also Fool's Paradise Day. I could not learn more about that. I have no idea what that is. But it just so you know, it's for fools. Today is Fool's Paradise Day. It's also Gruntled Workers Day. Not disgruntled, but gruntled Workers Day. Yeah. I not exactly sure if that's a positive thing. But gruntled obviously is the opposite of disgruntled, or I should say disgruntled is the opposite of gruntled. So that would be what, gruntled would be happy. Somewhat happy, because satisfied, because disgruntled would be unsatisfied. Right? Okay. So today is Happy Satisfied Workers Day, or Gruntled Workers Day. There are some words you just never see the positive side to. But disgruntled, yeah, you never heard anybody say the word gruntled. It's always disgruntled. Well, obviously, if there's a prefix dis, meaning anti or opposite of, there's got to be a pro to that, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, this is just typical English. I know we don't really teach English anymore, but when I first saw that gruntled, I had to stop and think for a second, because we don't ever see the word gruntled. We always see disgruntled. But anyway, it's basically what gruntled means is satisfied, contented, basically, right? Because disgruntled is discontented, unsatisfied, full of malice, hate, that type of thing. So gruntled would be the opposite of disgruntled. So it's Satisfied Workers Day. It's also Go West Day. The problem is, I think everybody's leaving the West. I think everybody's leaving the West. Now, and they're coming east. Remember the old saying was, "Go west, young man." I think all those young men got out to the West, realized that the West sucked, and so they're all coming back east. No, now's the time we need to put up that wall at the Mississippi River and block block all those idiots coming in from the West. It's also National French Fry Day. Yes, today is National French Fry, not Freedom Fry, French Fry. Today is National French Fry Day, so you should go out and celebrate by eating a bunch of French fries. No, they're not. They're still not called freedom fries. Sorry. Any case, Ben Shapiro. Those are your holidays for today, July 13th. Ben Shapiro here. Now, Ben Shapiro is not, obviously, he's not he's not really a pro-Trumper. Ben Shapiro is, I don't know enough about him to say that he's a true conservative, but let's just say he's a conservative. I'm not going to say he's a never. Was Ben Shapiro a never Trumper? I did not look that up. I don't know if he was a never Trumper in the Republican Party. But, just listening to him, he's not a pro-Trumper. And there's a lot of things that Ben Shapiro, and I know there are people that like Ben Shapiro. And they listen to him and they think that, he's what a traditional conservative, a Jewish conservative is supposed to be like. Up until a few weeks ago, frankly, to tell you the truth, I did not know Ben Shapiro. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know he was gay, or not gay, Jewish. I didn't really care. It's not the first thing I look for. Oh, what religion are they? I don't really care if he's Jewish or not. But in any guy, well, evidently he is. I know, and I fell into that trap too. But somebody said, "Well, Ben Shapiro's Jewish," I said, but he doesn't look Jewish. What's a Jew supposed to look like? But if you're going to go by traditional Jewish standards, I guess you could say that Jared Kushner doesn't really look Jewish either. So what's a Jew supposed to look like? Are they supposed to have the big hook nose and the curly hair? And they're supposed to be skinny and tall. Well, I guess Kushner is skinny and tall, but they just don't fit their traditional, whatever the traditional. My traditional view of what a Jew is supposed to look like, that they don't fit it. So, but anyway, that's irrelevant. That's beside the point. So you have Ben, who's also in his 30s now. He's a millennial, right? He's like 30 something, 33 or something like that. So basically, he's a millennial. Much like, Kushner is, when was he born? 80? Puts him as being a millennial as well. So we have this differing type of scenario here with Ben Shapiro, who tends to look at things from I'm going to say a never Trumper view. In that he believes that there is something to be said about Trump and his issues with tweeting. And I'm thinking, Ben, you got it all wrong, man. You got it all wrong. Ben Shapiro has fallen into this trap of what presidential is supposed to be, acting presidential. He's fallen for this. It's a false narrative, folks. I think I've explained this before. This whole notion of what we view presidents, or how presidents are supposed to act and react, is a bunch of bullshit. Because up until, I don't know, maybe the last half of the 20th century, that's not how come on. Teddy Roosevelt, anybody? If Teddy Roosevelt and Donald Trump have got a lot in common. Do you think that the left-leaning media and the never Trumpers who would probably be never Teddies? Never Teddies. Do you think that they would think that Teddy Roosevelt was acting presidential? He was being no. But the whole point of a president is supposed to act like George W. Bush. It's redonkulous. That's not being presidential. I have, George W. That's one of my big things with George W. Bush is he's done more to harm what it means to be presidential. He didn't raise the bar at all. I'm sorry, George. I like George W. Bush, generally speaking. I did. But he did not raise the bar. And I remember listening to some talking heads, including Rush, praise, George W. Bush for not reacting to any of the mess that the lamestream media was saying about. Like, are you kidding me? I didn't like it from the beginning. Sure, I mean, there were certain things that he was above the fray on. I get it. But overall, George W. Bush never responded to anything. That wasn't being presidential. Not at all. Because as president, you've got to get out there and you've got to get your message out there, and you've got to go to the people to get your message out. You got to use that Oval Office as a bully pulpit, because you're not going to get any help from the lamestream media. So that wasn't being presidential, it was being stupid. And in a way, it was being cowardly. So to fall for this notion that somehow that Donald J. Trump should not tweet anymore, then how is he going to get his message out? Do you really think, Ben, that he's going to get a fair shot from the media? I don't think so. Well, it's pretty amazing when we have people out there who obviously think that what it is to be. I don't know what they think it is to be it means to be a leader. That they're a world leader. Do you think any of the kings and queens from of ages gone past? Do you think that they would be no, that they would be construed as being not presidential like, not prime minister enough alike, or not kingly or royal enough by today's standards? And today's standards are fake, phony, false. What are we supposed to act like Macron of France now? Are we supposed to act like the British, who never seem to raise their voices anymore? That's called being repressed in my book.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came, defeat the would-be dictators, and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
So good old Benny Shapiro is, again, I'm not going to say that he's an anti-Trumper. He very well may be. And it wouldn't be a surprise if that's what he turns out to be. I mean, it's not. It would not be. But I understand that he's a conservative. I understand that in this day and age, he's kind of, well, if he's Jewish, which he is, it's not the norm or the majority of them being conservative. Well, this is probably why there's a lot of people that don't like Jared Kushner. Not because he's the president's son-in-law, although that doesn't do him any favors, but because he's a conservative. He's a Republican conservative Jew. Now, I know you might say that he's more moderate, and you'd probably be right. Look, I've said this before, that Donald Trump is not a 100% dyed-in-the-wool true conservative. Donald Trump is not. Well, he's not. And obviously, I'm not a never-Trumper. I'm just being factual. Donald Trump is not a 100% true constitutional Republican conservative. He's just not. Well, when he talks about, let me give you an example. He talks about repeal and replace Obamacare. Well, a true conservative does not say replace it. They just say repeal. We don't need a replacement. Well, President Trump believes that there needs to be some kind of replacement. I, for one, do not believe that there should be. It is what it is, folks. But to take this whole thing with Donald Jr. Personally, myself, I think. Look, folks, come on. We have gone through this whole Russiagate, Russian collusion thing, and now all of a sudden we find out that Donald Jr., Jared Kushner, and I don't know who else met with this so-called Russian lawyer at one point. Yeah, big freaking. Oh, and it's Donald Trump's the one, Jr. That's the one that released the emails or copies of the emails or portions. I mean, why would you do that? Because I believe that that the Trump organization, I believe that they're now part of the problem with this whole Russiagate. They're not letting it go. Well, because it's making Democrats look like a bunch of fools and idiots, for one. Really, it really is, and it's really showing who they really are. So it has nothing to do with there being anything there, because there's nothing there. I think it has everything to do now that I think that the Trump administration now has complete control, at least 80 to 90% control over this whole Russiagate thing. I think they've got control of it. And they are playing the liberals and Democrats like a Stradivarius on this. Why else would you now dribble out this whole notion of a conversation that you possibly had with somebody a year ago? And why would you bring it out now? And there's really nothing there, but they all, the left is just going gaga over it. Oh, this could be treason. It's like on cue. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You just can't.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. It's Rod Eccles.
And welcome back. We are back here on this Thursday, July number 13, in the year of our Lord 2017. 603-835-3226 is the call-in number should you wish to utilize yourself of that. Avail yourself of that number. Excuse me. Here we have live radio, folks. You know, even after you drink something during the break and decides to belch, your body does it. You can't hold back a belch. Anybody ever try that? I've tried. Can never do it. Never got that kind of control. In any case, here's something I thought you might find to be a little bit interesting. It's not, well, we have a quote of the day, but this is not exactly a quote, as it is a statement. And before I give you the quote of the day, I thought I'd give you the statement first. And this is going back a few years, the statement, but it's very apropos today. But it's going, it's just a tad, just a little bit in history, just a few years ago. And it begins thusly. Do not blame Caesar. Blame the people of Rome who have so enthusiastically acclaimed and adored him and rejoiced in their loss of freedom and danced in his path and given him triumphal processions. Blame the people who hail him when he speaks in the forum of the new wonderful good society, which shall now be Rome's interpreted to mean more money, more ease, more security, and more living fatly at the expense of the industrious. Marcus Tullius Cicero, 106 to 43 BC. It's going back just a few years in time. Just a few years. And this quote of the day is just going back a few years too. And many of you probably know this one. But did you know the exact wording and how it was worded? Well, this is what President Gerald R. Ford said. A government big enough to give you everything you want is also big enough to take away everything you have. Let me repeat. A government big enough to give you everything you want is also big enough to take away everything you have. Again, that's a quote from Gerald Ford, former president of these United States of America. Which is something else I just, when people want the government to give them things, why? Because if the government gives it to you, and we know that our government does it. Our government is no exception. They put rules in place and they make it more difficult for the average person to get something. The government says, well, you have a right to have this. This is your right. And, you're an American citizen. And then you try to go and collect upon it. And they say, well, no, you got to do this first. You can't make this amount of money, and you got to get rid of that, and you got to sell this, and you're limited to this much. It's incredible, especially the limits. You can only get so much, and yet we're supposed to believe that. Well, take for instance healthcare. The whole notion behind healthcare is supposedly to make it cheaper. One, government-controlled healthcare is never cheaper. It never has been. And two, there is all kinds of controls and limits and rationing that goes on. Just ask people who are on Medicare, Medicaid, and the VA. Ask them. Ask the now more than 500 men and women who've died waiting for care at the VA over the past, 6 years now? Ask them. Oh, no, you can't, because why? They're dead. And you got a bunch of yahoos running around talking about how wonderful the government single-payer health care is going to be. And those promoting it aren't going to have it. Oh, yeah, I know. It's just another one of those things that you can't tell the left. And my doctor friend who didn't want to know, she didn't want to know anymore. Yeah, she was all for this single payer thing. It's like you do realize that your best friend who is now in Chicago, what did you say she earns? $300,000 a year? She's not going to be able to do that under single payer. You're up to six figures now? Yeah, well, no. I mean, she was just complaining that she was spending $20,000 a year on daycare for her 6-year-old son. $20,000 a year. Well, single payer would mean that you wouldn't be able to afford that. Oh, by the way, she's all for choice. Choice in schools, because I guess the area that her kid goes to schools it would go to public school. The public schools in her area suck. Well, you'd think they'd be better and nicer because, they're in a nicer neighborhood with higher property taxes and higher property values. But no, I guess the public school's there, so she has to send her kid to a private school because the public schools suck. No, there you go. So she's all for choice. Why? Because it would save her some money. Liberals are all great, except when they're great at spending your money, but they're stingy as hell when it comes to spending their money. I find it fascinating that they do such a thing. But so hey, you're not going to get this six figures. You're not going to be able to do and specialize probably in what you specialize in. They'll tell you what you're going to specialize in. You know, like that. Well, that's not how it works. I'm like, yeah, you do realize that's how it works. She's also part of this Doctors International thing. And wherever she goes, she's complained about the lack of medical facilities and doctors not being able to freely practice medicine in some of these countries, which is why they have this Doctors International thing coming in, which allows her to travel to these different places. And yet she doesn't put two and two together. She somehow thinks, well, that's hey, it's a great thing. Government health care. Because evidently it works wonders all over the planet. If it worked all over the planet, we wouldn't be sending free enterprise doctors to those countries. Those countries would be exporting their doctors to us. But that's never the case, is it? No, it's not. As a matter of fact, we often, not only do we have the best doctors in the world, but often when you have some very learned, very practiced, very experienced doctors coming in from another country, what do we tell them? No, you can't practice here. You're not up to snuff. And in most cases, they're right. Because they come from a medical system that is overburdened by government, and they don't have the same knowledge and training as our doctors do. They have to be trained in our standards in order to keep up. Yeah, they may be very learned, very intelligent, But even they know that they're not the same. Which is why most of them that come here and want to practice here, they are willing to go through the extra schooling and training to get licensed in America and Canada, because they're not the same where they come from. And they have more, and they get here and they realize they have more freedom to openly practice their medical knowledge and really help people. Where they come from countries where they can't really do that. They're limited by government from actually helping their people. But these, and you know, we often send doctors in this international doctors thing that my doctor friend is a part of. You would think that they're backwater. No, she just doesn't go to Africa. You know, African nations, you know, like Kenya and places. She also goes to places that are in Eastern Europe, like, you know, Ukraine, in Sweden, in Austria. Well, wait, I thought these were Western countries that were, you know, up. Well, yeah, but they have a very limited medical system because it's controlled by government. And this is what we want here. You know, we're sending doctors to these so-called, well, this is where we're missing. We always say, you know, we have the first world, which is supposedly us, and we have the third world, which is, you know, many countries in, like, say, Central and South America and Africa and parts of Asia. You know, I think Bangladesh. But we also have something that is called second world. Now, what is second world? Well, second world are countries that are in between all of that first and third world stuff, like Ukraine. And not denouncing or putting these people down at all, but that's just the way their economies and their structure is second world. Hell, the United States is slipping into second world status because we have a government that's forcing us in that direction. Well, we got to be careful with this stuff, all this government-controlled stuff. It doesn't work. Who knows? Maybe we, you know, we might start having to, if we have government-controlled single-payer healthcare, we're going to have, you know, seeing doctors from other countries, maybe even China, start coming into, you know, being part of some sort of Chinese nonprofit organization sending doctors here. And who knows? We may start getting emissaries and such in religion being sent here. Missionaries are coming to the United States. We may get those. Why? Because we've lost our way. Just saying, folks. Just saying. Well, you know what? Let us do this right now. It is about that time, and before I forget. Of course, I wouldn't forget, but before time slips away, we have this Thursday's military tribute salute. And this is from the family of one Vincent Marconi. Yeah, Vincent Marconi. Very Italian sounding, yes? Well, his rank was Sergeant, U.S. Army. He was born June 1925. His date of service was June 1942. His end of watch was June 1943. You know, all those Junes, very ironic, yes? But here's the story behind Vincent Vinnie Marconi. Vinnie entered the Army while he was still only 17 years old. He lied about his age on the enlistment papers because he felt a strong need to protect the land his grandfather immigrated to some 45 years earlier. Vinnie actually hated guns. As a child, he would say that the President of the United States should ban gangsters from having guns because in the hands of the bad guys, Vinnie said, guns were made to do bad things. Something Vinnie obviously understood from an early age. Now, Vinnie saw action in the old country of Italy. His broken Italian helped out his regiment a few times in conversing with the locals in Italy. Now, Vinnie was killed in action in southern Italy in June of 1943. just over a year from his enlistment date and 13 days after his real 18th birthday. His parents and younger siblings were told that he was one of 5 killed when a number of tank rounds hit the building that they were in as the Allied forces tried to push back Mussolini's forces on during the Allied advancement onto Rome. Vinny's body was returned to New York City, and he is interred with a simple headstone that reads, "Freedom is only for those who fight for it." Something our grandfather would remind all the grandkids on a regular basis. Vinny obviously believed Papa, as we called him, was right. And I'm assuming that this was written by one of Vincent Marconi's siblings, since they're calling Papa their grandfather, not great-grandfather. This is for Vincent Marconi, a very young man, did not even get the chance to live. And he put his life on the line, and he gave up his life so that the rest of us would actually have a life. Vincent Marconi, we thank you for your service. Rest in peace, sir.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Welcome back. One of the funny things well, it's not really funny, but the interesting thing about Vincent Marconi is that he felt this need to serve and protect his country at the age of 17. He was it's nearly impossible for kids today. I understand it. It's nearly impossible for kids today to lie and get away with a lie like that, saying that they're older than they actually are. They've got 9 ways of Sundays to check your ID and your real age. But I don't think we have many kids that would even think of doing something like that. They are too. I mean, just last week I brought you the news that the reason why some jobs are back, and yet we have a bunch of millennial men, use the term men loosely in this particular case, they work less so they can play video games more. Well, I mean, that's not Vinnie Marconi. That's not his type of, it's not his type of people. I mean, we need more Vinnie Marconis of 1940, 1942, 43, and less Vinnie Marconis of 2017. Just saying. We need more people who are willing to understand and who are willing to stand up for and willing to accept the truth and want to know the truth and not worry about their ego. They're willing to grow up a little bit. And we, hey, we have 30-year-old men. Again, I use that term loosely. We have 30-year-old men that are still in their parents' basements that would rather play video games than actually have a real life. And I'm surprised. Well, I shouldn't be surprised by this, but I am. There's a young man over the weekend. He just graduated from college, 4 years. I didn't have the heart to really, kind of really lay into him about his future plans. But his mom was asking, well, what are you going to do? What are you planning? He goes, I don't know. I'm still kind of thinking about it. And I'm like, well, what's your major? And his mom is beaming with pride, communications. I didn't have the heart to tell her that was a useless degree. It really is. But he really needed to hunker down and get his resume in hand. And somebody was telling him, well, he can get an internship and, because internships pay really well. Not really. But okay. He needs to find this stuff out, and the sooner the better. I'm not saying he shouldn't be vacationing, but it's probably is not the time to, slack off and spend the summer drinking beer. Now's the time to really hunker down and go look for something. And start laying out, your path to your future. It's time to grow up a little bit. Unfortunately, we have too many kids that don't. They just don't want to grow up. Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
story of absolute amazement and bravery here. Now, I can honestly say I'm not sure that I would do it. Well, it takes a special person, and I'm obviously not like that particular type of special person, but well, he's fighting for his own country, so maybe I would do something like this for my own country, but for somebody else's country, I probably wouldn't. But here in the mirror.co.uk, the Lion of Mosul, the courage of a young soldier going undercover as an ISIS fanatic to shoot dead 6 fighters behind enemy lines. Yes, the Iraqi discovered the location of IS positions and key machine gun teams, and this guy was evidently a soldier. He volunteered? He didn't, they didn't order him to do it. Volunteered. I guess he didn't even hesitate. A soldier on a perilous mission to gather crucial intelligence deep behind Islamic State lines during the ferocious Battle of Mosul. And he shot dead 6 enemy fighters, evidently. Fearless Special Forces hero Mohammed Qasim, Qasim, dubbed the Lion of Mosul, disguised himself as one of the fanatics and connected them into... Conned them. He conned them into believing that he was one of them. I don't know, how do you disguise yourself as being an ISIS fighter? They don't have normal typical uniforms, so I guess he's got to get whatever their dress is. He has to dress up like them, however they happen to be dressed. Now, would I know the difference between? I guess the regular Iraqi army, they have uniforms, which is really kind of difficult because it's very much like during World War II. There were regiments of Germans that wore American uniforms, and their English was good enough where they did not have a German accent. They sounded like they were Americans. In fact, if you ever read stories about German infiltration and spies in World War II, you would know that there were some Germans, born and raised, educated Germans that learned English so well and got rid of their German accent on English that they were able to actually imitate various American dialects, if you will. Like a Southern drawl. Well, you know how we can. Well, you have. There are certain English-speaking people that do that very well. The British learn to do an American accent very well as Australians. And New Zealanders actually, believe it or not, have a harder time of being non-New Zealander when they're trying to be American. But Aussies are trained. We got a lot of Aussie actors. Nobody would ever know. Mel Gibson. They're not really Aussies, but they were basically raised in Australia. Mel Gibson, Nicole Kidman, Hugh Jackman, all basically Aussies. As well as a lot of British. Some British actors have never even had a role that we know of in their regular voice. And they don't sound anything like they really. Who's the Dominic something? The guy who plays. If you ever watch the TV show, I think it's AMC's Preacher TV series. Well, Dominic is actually a Brit, born and raised Brit. And his real non-American voice, his real British voice, sounds nothing like the Preacher when he's on Preacher. Never knew that he was. I thought he was actually from out west. Guy comes from outside of London. And so I guess it's easy to, if you know what you're doing and you're taught well, you can imitate anything or anybody. And this is what this Mohammed Qasim did, evidently. Is he convinced these ISIS people that he was one of them. So he discovered the location of ISIS positions and key sniper and machine gun teams. He's only 25 years old. 25. He took him out. So General Abdul Wahab al-Saadi, S-A-A-D-I, said, "We're all very proud of what this soldier did. He's a very brave man. He makes us all hold our heads up high." And indeed, what he did was quite amazing and right. Well, look, it's a good thing that he's out there protecting his own country instead of us doing it. You know, these people are he's willing to put his own, life on the line instead of us, which is what they should be doing. They need to protect them. They need to learn how to stand up and defend themselves. And here's an Iraqi hero. Now, I sincerely hope that he gets the accolades that he truly deserves. For if this story is completely on the up and up and true, I hope he gets the accolades that he truly deserves for doing. This is amazing stuff. Really is. Here's a story from the DOJ. The Hill. Exclusive. Department of Justice let Russian lawyer into U.S. before she met with Trump team. Department of Justice under Barack Hussein Obama let this Russian lawyer into U.S. before she met with Trump team. Yes, the Russian lawyer who penetrated Donald Trump's... I love how they put that. That's probably not what they should say, but I'm going to read it off exactly the way they printed it, so people can't say, well, you're just being biased. No, I'm just going to tell you the way they printed it. Not how I would have written the story, but this is how they wrote it. The Russian lawyer who penetrated Donald Trump's inner circle was initially cleared into the United States by the Justice Department under extraordinary circumstances before she embarked on a lobbying campaign last year that ensnared the president's eldest son, members of Congress, journalists, and State Department officials, according to Court and Justice Department documents and interviews. So this one single woman was a one-woman wrecking crew, evidently. This revelation means it was the Obama Justice Department that enabled the newest and most intriguing figure in the Russia-Trump investigation to enter the country without a visa. Later, a series of events between an intermediary for the attorney and the Trump campaign ultimately led to the controversy surrounding the president's eldest son. Now, according to the emails that Donald Trump Jr. has released, which led everybody to this person, which led to this... I am probably pretty damn sure this is why Donald Jr. released the email conference, because he knew it would lead to this discovery of this woman and how she got here. I'm telling you that the Trump administration is playing the left like a Stradivarius. And the problem is that some of them even know this, but they do not care because they think that they're going to get the Trumpster. Yeah, I mean, you got people on the left now who are saying, we got to cut this nonsense out. We're only ending up looking like fools. But the rest of the Democrat Party is totally and completely ignoring that advice, including the mainstream media, especially CNN. They're all ignoring that advice about we need to get off this Trump or this Russiagate stuff and move on. There's nothing here, and they refuse to do it because it's all they got. Really, the literal cases, that's all they've got. They have nothing else. I mean, to understand that this revelation, this so-called revelation, I love all these. This is a revelation, man. We knew, well, somebody knew this already. This woman entered the United States under the Obama administration, and she didn't come here just to, they're trying to make it sound like that she came here just to seek out Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr. That's not the case. She came here and she sought out tons of people, evidently. And some of them were, political operatives in the Obama administration. Some of them were journalists, evidently. Some of them were in the Hillary Rodham Clinton camp. This woman she came here to, I guess, somehow to be a one woman wrecking crew but we obviously knew that, well, not us as in the general public, but we obviously knew, as our government knew that she was here because our government is the one that expedited her permission slip, basically, to be here. I mean, do folks realize that? The Obama administration basically gave her a permission slip to come into the USA when she did. Obama did. So she was known. She was well known. So the story goes on to say that later, a series of events between an intermediary for the attorney and the Trump campaign ultimately led to the controversy surrounding the president's eldest son. Just 5 days after meeting in June of 2016 at Trump Tower with Don Jr., presidential son-in-law Jared Kushner, and then Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort, Moscow attorney Natalia Vasilenskaya, however you pronounce that Russian name, showed up in Washington in the front row of a House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing on Russian policy. Video footage of this hearing shows that she was sitting in the front row. She also engaged in pro-Russia lobbying campaign and attended an event at the Newsom in Washington where Russian supporters showed a movie that challenged the underpinnings of the U.S. human rights law known as the Magnitsky Act, which Russian leader Vladimir Putin has reviled and tried to reverse. So, again, she was here on a mission, and she was led into the U.S. of A. on a one-woman wrecking crew mission. Well, just say it was pro-Russian. She had a pro-Russian agenda, pro-Vlad agenda, I guess. But she just didn't meet with the Trump's team. And evidently, when according to people who were in that meeting, that when it became clear that this woman had nothing to offer the Trumps, they left. And they're saying this is a waste of time, and so they left. But this whole thing is supposed to be focused on John Jr. somehow by meeting this woman at Trump Tower, whom the Obama administration gave special permission to come into the country. Don Jr. is the one that committed treason. Yeah, not Obama, not the Obama DOJ who let her in, not the Obama administration that let her go to all these wonderful Obama administration events. Oh, no, Don Jr. is a treasonous one for meeting with her. She met with at least a dozen other people, attended government events, but Don Jr. is the treasonous one for meeting with this Russian lawyer. Can you understand now why I think that the Trump campaign, for whatever reason, is keeping this Russian collusion thing alive? And they are playing the Democrats like they are well-trained Stradivarius players. I almost said fiddle, but Stradivarius is not a fiddle. It's a violin. They are playing them like one of the world's greatest violins. It's amazing to see this. Amazing.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message. A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
You know, maybe we should do a daily review of Donald Trump's tweets. Just a daily review of this whole Russian collusion nonsense crap. Because I think if I started doing some research here and started mapping all of this stuff out, there might be a pattern here. I'm betting I would find a pattern, and the pattern would lead one to believe that Trump is probably partially behind keeping this story of Russian collusion alive for whatever reason. I'm not going to sit here and say that I would know exactly why he would do it. Because we like to, many of us think that all this crap is getting in the way of his agenda. and is keeping Congress from actually concentrating on his agenda. But there are some people that say, well, you got to have, one of the important things that Trump understands when it comes to politics is that you got to have an enemy. You got to have a political enemy. And I don't think Trump needs to make up enemies. I think they're all around him, literally. I don't think he's paranoid. If that's what he thinks, there are enemies around him. I don't think he's paranoid about that. But why is he? I don't think he has anything to hide. So is he keeping this whole collusion thing going simply because he doesn't want to pursue criminal charges against Hillary Clinton? There are some people who are starting to say that he really does. Well, I think he's already said it. He says, I don't want to hurt them. They're nice people. They're getting old. What are you gonna? Seriously? What are we gonna do to Hillary Clinton? She's like 70 years old. She looks, acts, and probably feels like she's 90. She's probably not going to be around another 4 or 8 years. So what's the big deal? Why do we need to do this? I get that's what, Donald Trump might be thinking. Not because they're friends that go back a long way, but simply because at some point somebody gets to be a certain age or their health is so deteriorated, or both, and you just say, well, what's the use? I know there are people out there that want Hillary's head. They really do. No matter what. They would not care if she was on her deathbed suffering from Alzheimer's, HIV, cancer, and Crohn's disease all at once. And then she was 90 years old. They wouldn't care. They would still want to put her on trial, convict her, and then sentence her to jail. There are people, I'm not going to deny it, there are people who are out there who really want the Clintons that badly. They basically want the Clintons' heads on the proverbial pole. No matter what. Now, I don't know what it says personally about those people. They're a little bit sadistic. But most of us would think, well, what good is it going to do? I mean, by the time the trial is over and all the appeals and everything, and then we finally get to some sort of closure and sentencing, which is probably just going to end up being probation, they're going to die. And we will spend all that money for what? I know that there are people out there that think that. I mean, my thing is, look, if you're talking about equal justice, especially in this case, if you're talking about, you liberals want to go after Trump for this Russian collusion thing, well, there's a hell of a lot more actual, real evidence that there was more collusion going on between the Clintons and Putin and the Russian government and Obama and the Russian government than there ever was of Trump and the Russian government. So you need to go after them as fervently as you are doing to Trump. I get that. Yeah, that's what they should do. But all these, well, except for Obama, you're talking the Clintons. Really, again, is it really worth our time and effort? Now, like I said, by the time we're never going to get to the end of it, because by the time we think we're getting to the end of it, the Clintons will die, and then nobody's going to pursue it after that. That's my personal opinion. I don't know.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along?
Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back?
Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer?
With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95.
I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me. My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors.
They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures,
saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome back. Hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. Yes, the fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show as we continue on this Thursday morning, Thursday, July number 13 in the year of our Lord 2017. Call-in number is still 603-835-3226. As we continue on with the Thursday edition here, the Thursday Military Tribute edition, and we have a military report coming up a little bit later this hour. Tomorrow, of course, is Freedom Friday. I know we had an abbreviated week this week because I went on vacation, which I don't do very often. I don't take a lot of time off. I've taken time off from this program so I could do other work, but I don't take a lot of time off just to sit around and do nothing. It's hard for me to do nothing, by the way. Although when you do nothing, sometimes I did. There was one late last summer when I went on that cruise with my mother. Yes, I went on a cruise with my mother. So what? Anybody got a problem with that? She's my mommy still. I'm kind of a mama's boy. I'll admit it, in a good way. Went on a cruise with her, and I always thought going on cruises it would be boring. I would be bored. Are you kidding me? The entire cruise, I just reveled in being able to do nothing. Because we didn't buy that wonderful, the wonderful overpriced internet connection, ISP connection packages. I didn't even have access to the internet in my computer. While I was 10 days worth? Was it 10 days? 7 days. 7 days. Without... I didn't know what the hell was going on in the world. Really? I didn't. And I did nothing. So I can do that every once in a while. I could not do that. I don't know how people do that their entire adult life, because that would drive me insane. There is a point where I would get to, I got to do something. And I didn't reach that limit on the cruise. Maybe because you're on the water on a boat, and there are different activities that you can do and pay attention to. I don't remember what I did to fill my day, because I was not bored at any time. Not bored. There were times on this past vacation, however, there were some times I was a little bit bored. Maybe it's because I was with so many other people. I suppose I could be a loner at some particular points in time, if people wouldn't. But people seek me out. They ask for, as soon as they know what I do. Oh, then here come the questions. Now on the cruise, they didn't know what I did for a living as my job. They didn't know what my job was. When we were eating dinner with our dinner mates, and in the dining hall, whatever. There was myself and my mother. Basically, we were a couple, and there were 3 other couples around the table. And somewhere around day 5, somebody got around to asking me what I did, because my mother mentioned something, and my mother doesn't listen to the show. But it was the first time I'd ever heard my mother express pride about what I do. And she said, oh, yeah, his father would be proud of him for having his convictions and standing up. We don't always agree, but she was just going on and on about it. And they look at, well, what do you do? And I have a radio show and blah. And then the questions started coming. I don't put myself out there. People come to me as soon as they find out what I do. They start asking me all. I find it fascinating. I wonder if this is probably how all the other, the big guys are a little bit more understanding because everybody knows who they are. But anybody who's in political commentary on the radio or on TV, and as soon as people, if you're not nationally or internationally famous, I wonder if they run into the same thing, because every time, if I don't open my mouth and tell people what I do, because I don't normally, especially when I'm on vacation, I don't mention it. Yeah, but people, if they know or they ask and I tell them the truth, it's all there. Here come the questions. And I'm like, well, because I don't. You could say that when I'm on vacation, I try to avoid controversy. And I know that my beliefs and my positions, because they're all factual, based on fact and not based on any certain political ideology, they're going to rub people the wrong way who base everything that they live their life by on a certain type of political ideology. I don't. Which means I'm going to rub both sides of the political aisle the wrong way. Just like I did this past weekend. I rubbed both sides the wrong way. That's okay. Because again, folks, the people who listen to this program and the growing number of followers and people who are listening, they're coming to realize what they want is the truth too. There is no political ideology or there should not be any political ideology other than the truth. Anything else, obviously, is a lie. And if you have a political belief system that is based on a lie, well, it's not going to work. Honestly, it's not. I don't care what you try to do. It's just, in the end, it's not going to work. And it's not going to work, especially for the people who you say that you're trying to make it work for, which means you're really not trying to make it. Socialism and communism is not meant for the proletariat, the little people. It's not meant for us. No, I'm serious. They always talk about, socialism being, for the little guy, the worker. All that stuff is not for the average little person. Those types of economic and political systems only benefit the elite. That's who it's for. If you're listening to this program for the first time, let me just clue you in on something. Your socialist dreams, your communistic dreams, they do not benefit you at all. Let me be clear. It does, socialism and communism and fascism does not benefit the vast majority of the public. It only benefits the few at the top, the elites, and whomever those elites deem worthy enough to allow it to benefit. I know you can probably say, well, I know this person, they're not an elite, and it's because some elite said, well, we're not going to allow you into our elitist ruling class, but we like you enough that we're going to let you, get in on some of the wonderful stuff that we can offer. I mean, that's what it's all about. It does socialism, fascism, communism, anything that requires any form of dictatorial, totalitarian type of process or thought does not benefit the vast majority of the masses. It only benefits those in power, the elites. It only enriches the elites, makes them richer. I mean, we see this now in our own country when we don't have such a we just have the beginnings of a socialistic society. You know, they're all running around telling us what's good for us. You know, Obamacare is good. None of them have it. They didn't want it. I mean, you got people like Bernie Sanders, who's a socialist bordering on communist, talking about, well, free government this and free government that, and that rich people need to pay more taxes. And here's a guy who goes around, he makes more than $1 million a year, pays cash for a vacation house that costs more than $500,000, and he's talking about he's for the little guy. No, only the people at the top benefit from this. You see, capitalism evens the score. Sure, we have ultra-rich people. And that's another funny thing. You got Mark Zuckerberg running around talking about, well, we need to have basic, a floor, a basic income. Everybody deserves a basic income. Well, why don't you pay for it? You're worth $60+ billion. And you didn't get where you are because you had some sort of basic income coming in. And to call for basic income that's based on the Alaska, hey, you know why they get $1,000 per person in Alaska, eligible person in Alaska? Because of the oil royalties that are paid. In other words, capitalism pays for it. It just doesn't come out of their ass somehow, and Alaska just pays these people. All right, this is the most ridiculous notion I've ever heard of. You all on the socialist side, you're asking for those people who are capitalists to pay for your socialist ideas. Socialism would put them out of business, and thereby, your money for funding all your free stuff would dry up. Do you not understand this? If it were not for the free enterprise capitalist system, you wouldn't even have the ability to have, you'd be like all these other countries. Was it Norway with a 47% income tax? Well, no wonder they've got so-called free stuff. They're giving half their income to their federal government. Just to start. Literally half. That's not talking about all the other stuff that they got to pay for in their taxes, too. They started at nearly 50%. And of course they're going to be happy that their government pays for everything because they only get to keep about 10 to 20% of their annual income. Can you imagine if that happened here in the US of A? Somebody makes $100,000 a year and they actually get to keep $20,000 of it? And this is what you leftists want? Are you kidding me? You think it's okay for the government to come in and just take all, do you think a business is going to pay you even more just to make up for the, no, hell no. You think Zuckerberg is going to, if the government starts to get to the point where federal and state and local taxes eat up 80% of your income, do you think that they're going to increase your income by 80%? You think Zuckerberg? No, of course he's not. Do you think Zuckerberg is actually going to willingly pay 80% of his income? Oh, no, he's going to hire a team of lawyers and accountants to legally pay as little as he possibly can. He's not going to volunteer to pay a dime more. He's out there talking about universal basic income. Give me a freaking break. Yeah, damn hypocrites, every one of you socialists. And you rank and file socialists, you have no idea what you're asking for. Because you're idiots. You're not intelligent. You haven't learned a damn thing. Now, sure, you went to college and got a useless degree, but you're not very smart. And the worst part is, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. Does anybody think that this is intelligent? Here's from McClatchy. Congressman introduces articles of impeachment against Trump. Yes, Representative Brad Sherman, Democrat, California, has introduced formal articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump, accusing him of obstruction of justice. I just can't. I can't with these people. I cannot with this kind of stupidity. Sherman, who first drafted articles in June, formally introduced, this is before there was any call for obstruction, formally introduced H.R. 438 on the House floor yesterday. Other Democrats have expressed concern about Sherman's efforts to impeach Trump over possible ties to Russia, and the resolution had only one co-sponsor, the equally idiotic Representative Al Green, Democrat out of Texas. Not that this isn't serious stuff, because it is, but it's only serious when you have people who actually know what impeachment is, that actually know what obstruction of justice, people who are actually intelligent. When somebody who's intelligent decides to come forward with some actual evidence, then I will be behind it.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Okay, I cannot tell a lie. There are. I'm a little bit devilish. I'll admit it. There are times when I might be in a group of people and I'll start. I'm very sarcastic. People who know me will tell you. Oh, they'll tell you right off the bat. Oh, dear God, Rod is. It's hard to tell when he's serious sometimes because I'm so damn sarcastic. But I just might tweak a conversation without telling people what I do. I'll just tweak a conversation. I'll just say, well, what do you think about this? And then they'll say something, and I'll have a sarcastic comment about it. And that usually just starts the whole table abuzz. It's kind of fun to do that. Well, I mean, I don't... Does that mean... Well, I just like it. I like people to think. I really do. If you're able to think through your process, if you have some viable, intelligent, historical reference points to support your beliefs, I can respect that. And no, it's not the same. I know some people will say, well, geez, what do you say about religion, Rod? You believe Christianity's always right? You're just one of those Christians that think Christianity's always right. Well, yeah, because if I didn't believe Christianity was right, if I didn't have some historical reference, but yeah, and I do have historical reference points on Christianity. If I didn't, I wouldn't believe in it. I wouldn't know. And look, it's not just Christianity. We have three of the world's largest, biggest, baddest, bestest, longest lasting religions who all have a similar, albeit you could say identical, beginning. Well, we do actually. And we can even tell you where the splits happen. When did Islam split from Judaism, basically? When did Christianity split from Judaism? Yeah, we both have our roots in Judaism. We can go back through. We have historical, not just biblical, but other historical documents that show this. It's reality. So if you have something that is based on reality to back up your belief, especially in political beliefs, but I can, if you're going to be a liberal, I can go back out through history, going back centuries. Just centuries of proof that show you why you're wrong. You may call them different things, but they all have their roots in one thing. Totalitarianism. A single entity or small group of entities, people, who decide how the masses will live, without the input of the masses whatsoever. And it never works. It just doesn't work. So don't blame me for telling you the truth. Blame the truth for being the truth, I guess.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Bring the rain.
something just before I get. Let me go over something before I get to the military report this morning. For this Thursday, there's something that's going on that some of us might think is just simply an American phenomenon, but it's not. This is a worldwide phenomenon. And let me just bring you up to speed from a story that happened here a couple of years ago in the USA that really hasn't gotten a lot of attention since then. And every once in a while I'll bring it up and ask, well, why haven't we done something about this? Do you remember the case about a North Carolina boy, 17? He was 17 at the time. He faced a 10-year prison sentence and sex offender status over having nude photos of a 16-year-old. Now, here's the rub. You're probably saying, well, it's probably his girlfriend. No. He was actually being prosecuted as an adult at the age of 17 for having nude photos of himself at the age of 16. Now, I don't know who grabbed a hold of this kid's phone and and what prosecutor went over this phone and thought, well, here's some nude pictures of this boy. And, well, whose phone is it? Well, it's his phone. Well, he's both the perpetrator and the victim. So now we're going to attack this young man. We're going to try him as an adult for having this is ridiculous. I hate to say it, but it is. This is not what all these anti-sex crime legislation and laws were intended to do. They were not. It's about as bad as you taking a selfie of yourself engaged in a legal sex act, and then all of a sudden somebody saying, well, that's not legal. You know, we're going to prosecute you because you're the perpetrator as well as the victim. And we're doing this to protect you. Really? So now you're a 16-year-old kid. No, you happen to like the way your body looks. You take a picture of yourself, and you don't even have to send it to anybody. It's just on your phone. On your cell phone. 16 years old. And then all of a sudden, somebody gets a hold of your phone and says, well, there's a naked picture of you. Yeah, I took it myself. Can you tell it's a selfie? You're under arrest for taking a picture of myself? Yes. Let me refresh your memory on this case. A Fayetteville, North Carolina teenager has actually, this is 2 years ago, he reached a plea deal to avoid being charged with multiple sexual exploitation counts after his cell phone was found to contain nude selfies of himself. 17-year-old Cormega Coping, who took the photos of himself when he was just 16, agreed to the deal in order to avoid jail time and being registered as a sex offender. As part of the plea deal, the teen agreed to random police searches without a warrant for a year, unconstitutional, by the way, as well as other penalties. The teenager was listed as both the victim and the perpetrator on these sexual exploitation charges. Why do I bring this up? If this happened 2 years ago, well, first of all, we haven't fixed these laws at all, and there are kids being ensnared for taking pictures of themselves, and their entire future being labeled as a sex offender because they took a naked selfie, not a picture of somebody else, but of themselves. Why do I bring it up? Because evidently we're not the only ones going through this here in the USA. Thousands of children are sexting, say police. BBC, nearly 400 children under the age of 12 have been spoken to by police in the last 3 years in England and Wales. The figures obtained by the BBC show that more than 4,000 cases since 2013 where children have taken explicit pictures of themselves and sent them to others. It is illegal to possess, take, or distribute sexual images of someone who's under the age of 18, including taking pictures of yourself. if you're under the age of 18. It's illegal to take your own picture. You may think, well, Rod, we can't have child pornography. Yeah, I get that. I am not advocating child pornography at all. But are you telling me you don't see a problem with charging a 16-year-old child, a 12-year-old child, under sexual predator laws that will have them register as a sex offender for the rest of their life when they took a picture of themselves? Not some other kid even, just themselves. They went into the bathroom or they're in their bedroom and they take off their clothes and they snap a picture and they say, hey, this looks pretty good. What do you think? And they send it to a friend or something. All of a sudden they break all kinds of laws. So you don't have the right to disseminate your own image? Is that what they're saying? Well, check this out. The story continues. A 5-year-old from County Durham was spoken to by officers of the Durham Constabulary last year. He was the youngest person to be investigated for sexting by police forces in England and Wales who responded to the BBC Newcastle request of it. I don't know how a 5-year-old, they actually arrested the kid. That's what the story says. How do you arrest a 5-year-old? First of all, I don't know how a 5-year-old really understands. Well, I suppose they do. Understands how to take a selfie, but I guess they do. And how can you really be serious is if you're a cop and you actually go to you knock on the door, the parents answer, and they say, well, we need to speak to your 5-year-old kid. Why? Because we're here to arrest them under suspicion of sexual exploitation of a minor. And then when the parents find out that it's their 5-year-old took a nude selfie of themselves, and that's why the kid's in trouble at 5, I mean, I would be livid. Just saying. I mean, this stuff is going way too far. It is at the point now where not only are we teaching people to be ashamed of their bodies, but we're teaching people to say that, simply because you are a certain age, you don't have any legal right to enjoy your body. You yourself, you can't take a picture of yourself because you're not a certain age. You can't have that picture on your person anywhere in your possession. Because if you do, we're going to arrest you and prosecute you for taking a picture and exploiting yourself. You may not even give your pictures out to anybody, but they're still going to accuse you of child exploitation and cause you to register as a sex offender. For why? Because you took a picture of yourself at the age of 16. I mean, can you imagine if you actually did this? And we've had cases in this country where this is true. Where somebody takes a selfie of themselves at the age of 16. And they still have that photo when they're 18. It has happened. Now you're an adult in possession of child pornography. Forget that the photo is still of you, that you took. You're still in legal trouble. I'm sorry, folks. That is a bad law. It is an unconstitutional law. It is an ungodly law. And you can say, well, it's just like taking drugs. Well, I also don't believe that a drug addict should be sentenced to 10 years in jail simply because they take heroin. Should it be legal? No, it shouldn't be legal. But should you go to jail for 10 years for it? No. You didn't harm anybody else. You took the drug yourself. You need some assistance getting off of it. You need some help. Should not be in prison for that. And this is the most ridiculous, asinine stuff if we were actually thinking constitutionally, we wouldn't have half the laws that we currently have in the books. I'm telling you, we wouldn't. For somebody to risk to have their entire life ahead of them in jeopardy because they have a picture of themselves that they took themselves because you don't like that they took the picture of themselves? Well, no, it's not the way it was meant to be. That was not the intent of the. I can't say in other countries. Maybe the intent of the law in other countries was to do just that, but it was not the intent of anti-child pornography laws. Were not intended to ensnare people for taking selfies, nude selfies, under the age of 18. That was not their intent. But that is exactly what they're being used for today. Oh, maybe your kid is sexting their boyfriend or girlfriend. Would you want your child brought up on criminal charges, could face prison time, as well as having to register as a sex offender simply because they sent a nude picture of themselves to their boyfriend or girlfriend? Simply because they weren't 18? That's your kid right now. Evidently, Great Britain has thousands of kids are being questioned and talked to about sexting. How many kids in the U.S. of A. are being talked to, or how many kids in the USA are being charged as an adult for having a nude picture of themselves? This is the type of stuff that needs to be changed. It needs to be changed. Now on to the military report. A soldier. I know somebody's going to say, well, Rod he's all for a child. No, I am not. I'm saying if you take a picture of yourself, you're not a criminal. That's all I'm saying. If an adult takes a picture of a kid in a sexual manner, then the adult needs to be punished, yes. But, this whole parents taking a picture, a nude picture, the traditional nude picture in the bathtub of their little baby, they're not guilty of child pornography. But some parents have been arrested for that, by the way. Yeah. Again, these same laws being put into practice, not the way they were intended. So, would you do, you're a grandparent, you take, oh, look at little Johnny, our first grandchild, you take a picture, and next thing you know, a few days later, the police are knocking on your door and putting you and your grandfather, your grandfather husband under arrest for child pornography. That stuff happens in the USA. It is happening. So don't tell me that this kind of stuff doesn't happen and I'm all for child pornography, because I'm not. Not at all. But when it comes to innocuous stuff like this, that's just ridiculous. You cannot tell me that you support that. I don't know. Maybe there are some ultra-religious people who would support people being... would you... I suppose if you were... Well, this is not funny, but just think about it. If you were in Islam and your daughter took a nude selfie of herself, your daughter would probably end up, what is it, honor killing is what they call it? Yeah, she'd ended up being stoned to death for that, I'm sure. At least we don't do that yet. We don't do that yet. On to the military report. Here's a story about it's a real life event that is going to be made into a movie. Yes, Clint Eastwood is the legendary actor, director, producer. Clint Eastwood is going to direct a film about a real life event that took place 2 years ago. Do you remember the three friends, the men, who were on a train in France, and they stopped a terrorist attack by a terrorist who had a Kalashnikov, I do believe, and it jammed, and they attacked this guy and took him down. Well, the three California men who thwarted a terror attack on a French train back in 2015 will make a rare move of playing themselves in a new Clint Eastwood-directed film about their heroics, the studio announced earlier this week. Air Force Staff Sergeant Spencer Stone Oregon National Guard Specialist Alec Scarlatos, and civilian Anthony Sadler, all childhood friends from California, will star in, and this is the title of the movie, The 1517 to Paris. This is a film based on the book they co-wrote about taking down a terrorist. Warner Brothers said in a statement, the film, which began production this week, it follows the lives of the three friends from childhood to the evening they helped subdue the man who opened fire inside a train traveling from Amsterdam to Paris. The Sacramento area men were vacationing in Europe when they tackled Ayoub El-Kazani, a man who authorities said has ties to radical Islam. El-Kazani had boarded the Paris-bound train with a Kalashnikov rifle, a pistol, and a box cutter. So the film will be the latest of several about real-life heroes that Eastwood has taken on, including 2014's American Sniper, which starred Bradley Cooper, and 2016's Sully, who was played by Oscar winner Tom Hanks. All those films were directed by Clint Eastwood. He's been a prolific director. I didn't realize that of Clint, but he is a prolific director. And evidently, according to other reports, other military personnel are also being tapped for future movie and television projects. So what you're going to be seeing in the future, in the near future, according to this report, is more and more real military personnel either playing other military heroes or themselves in dramatized real-life stories. Is that a good thing? In my book, if it brings to light what our men and women in our armed forces do and what they go through on a daily basis, the more we know about it, the better. And who better to portray these people than people who actually are in the military? I'm sorry, but these people, these Hollywood stars who are liberal mamby-pambies who get in front of the camera and think that they're all tough and then get off camera and off script and they start, throwing expletives against military as being, military people being baby killers and child killers and molesters and all that kind of stuff. Now, these people, they need to shut up and go away. And we need to allow real heroes, people who really know. They don't have to do method acting. They know what it's really like to be an American soldier and an American hero. There's not. We've got some movie stars who were in the military, and many of them are old school now and are dying off. We don't have a lot of actors today, big name actors who are actually in any war of any kind, like World War II or Korea. So these people are, as far as I'm concerned, they want to run around playing heroes? Come on, seriously? Anybody actually believe when they're watching a TV or a screen or a movie screen that Tom Hanks is really a real life hero? Really? Anybody? Anybody?
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong, and any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hayrite.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable men are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And it is going to be a long summer, evidently, because they've decided to put off their August recess, I guess, in D.C. Washington braces for a long, hot summer, and it's going to be a slog of politics. Well, they did it to themselves. They didn't stand up and do the job that they should have been doing all along, so now they're going to have to stand there and stay in D.C. longer. They're still not going to get anything done, but they're just trying to make an effort of it. Yeah, that's the way it is. Well, that sound means that we're out of time for today, but don't worry, we'll be back in about 21 hours. Tomorrow is Freedom Friday, Open Mic Friday, and just about anything goes. Got some good stuff headed your way tomorrow, so be here. Tell a friend. Share this program with somebody that you know, love, and care about. They need to hear the truth. Till then, thanks for tuning in. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.